2015 Dodge Journey with the 3.6 V6 engine, and today we're going to be replacing the valve cover gaskets. For this job we're going to be using the Felt Pro Victor Sierra 50805 Romeo valve cover gasket set. Comes with the spark plugs, and well, these are spark plugs. I think these are the cam seals. Anyway, let's get to it. Go ahead and remove our engine cover. And our first step is going to be to isolate the intake manifold and intake tubing system and remove it. So what I think we're going to do first is, it looks like this might have been removed already because there's a couple things that have been removed. This is broken right here. This plastic right here. This whole thing is kind of loose now. And right here in the back, just going to lift up and pop that up. We're going to go ahead and remove this sensor. And our throttle body. Somebody just pulled it up outside. And our throttle body harness right here. This one you just have to pull back on this little gray tab. It's a locking tab. And then once you pull back on it, you'll be able to use it to press down and pull that out. Go ahead and remove the clip, holding it to the throttle body. Remove this vacuum line. And I'm going to remove this sensor. And lastly, there is a clip on a vacuum hose right here that I believe goes to the PCV valve on the back of the engine. I'm just going to gently pull that off. Alright, go ahead and remove the intake piping. Connecting it right here and right here, so that way we don't have to worry about removing the filter box. Get that on out of here. This actually just pops right off. I was wondering what was holding this on. It looks like it's just this little gasket right here. There's a hose on the back of the intake manifold. Let's go ahead and move these both out of the way. Let's see if we can't get this big stupid piece of plastic out of here. The intake manifold appears to be held on by 8mm bolts. That was barely on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there it is. And put this gasket back here. This was definitely removed recently because most of these were not put down tight. This gasket right here is hanging out. So I don't know what's going on here, but I guess it's not my job to know, it's just my job to fix. So, let's get back to fixing, I guess. Now, the valve cover here in the front, and obviously the valve cover in the back, fairly the same. We're going to go ahead and remove our camshaft positioning sensors right here. Well, we're going to remove the harnesses, we're not removing the sensors. Go ahead and remove this sensor right here, which has the tiniest little red locking tab on it. Just be careful not to break those because you might not be able to get this thing back on. That is off. That is off. Go ahead and bend these out of the way a little bit. Just give me a little bit more space. And go ahead and remove our coil pack harnesses. Grab our 10mm and remove our coil packs. Strange that these ones don't want to come out. These ones have locks on them. But this coil pack didn't. This coil pack right now. Interesting. Oh, that is drenched in oil. And that'll be a cause of a misfire right there. Alright. And it looks like this harness right here is connected to the top of the valve cover. We're just going to pull that off. Just pull straight back and it'll pop right off for you, hopefully. And we got another one right here. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this one so we can get a little bit more slack out of the way. Good. And let's remove our PCV valve hose that goes directly to our intake air filter box. And we're going to switch back over to our 8mm and start removing this valve cover. Now these should not come out. They should have locks in there to hold them in. Alright, and this valve cover is ready to be removed. You never want to like really force these, but I can see I've already got a little bit of play in here. I'm just going to get a flathead screwdriver. I'm just going to very gently pry right here in the corner. I cannot stress enough how gently you need to pry with these. These valve covers are made out of plastic and they will break. Alright, now it does look like this down here is good. I think we need to remove this sensor right there, which honestly I didn't see that coming. I thought that would be a part of the valve cover. And it is a T30. Yeah, that really does go all the way down. Looks like this one's still held in there by plastic strap. And there's our first valve cover. I think they just did this valve cover gasket, and I think they did it wrong. Because this is leaking everywhere. It's an absolute mess. They didn't even put any RTV right here. Alright, now we're going to do both of these, but for the sake of the video and so it's not absurdly long, I'm going to go over the full process of doing this side head, so that way I have a nice easy shot with the camera, and just copy everything that we're doing here back there and you'll be golden. First thing we need to do is we're going to come in here, we're going to scrape off all this old RTV. I'm using a gasket scraper. You can use a flathead screwdriver, or if you want to use a wire brush, that's a good option too. I don't think with how this one's looking, I don't think I'm going to need to use a wire brush for this. Just make sure it's nice and clean in these two areas. This is just a bunch of old RTV. They put RTV here, but they did not put RTV there. So that's going to cause a leak. Alright. Coming here with some brake clean. I'm just going to spray around. Looking nice and clean. And for our black RTV, we're going to put them right here and right here. You don't need to put a lot, just a couple of drops in each spot. So the reason we put RTV in these two spots is because this is technically your timing cover that bolts to the front of your engine, and this side is your heads. And right here there's a small crease where the two bolt together, and rubber gaskets aren't going to be able to hold that, so you put RTV in there to kind of combine the gasket for your valve cover and the gasket for your front timing cover together. Alright, and with our valve cover gasket removed, we're going to go ahead in here and start prepping this. Get some brake clean coming here. We're going to make sure we get all the oil out of that crevice, because we want the new gasket to have a nice dry surface to adhere to. It looks like when they did this valve cover job last, they did not replace the spark plug rings. That's probably why this one's leaking so bad. I'm gonna go ahead and spray down the outside of this too, just because it's dirty and I don't like it. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this sensor seal right here. That just pops up. Get that out of here. And for your spark plug seals, just gonna go ahead and put a flathead screwdriver in there. We're just gonna gently tap. And they're gonna pop out. You want to get the angle, you don't want it sharp like this because you'll just tear a hole through the gasket. You want it kind of like a 45-degree in here where it's going to hit the metal brim. And with that, you'll see that they just kind of pop out. These ones are definitely old, so they might be coming out easier than yours. I'm not too sure. And so there's all three. And as you can see, the open ring is facing up. So when we install these, we want to make sure we install them correctly. Again, when we're installing these, the open ring goes up. Just gonna go in just like that. And grab one and go get yourself a socket that fits it. Looks like for these, I'll be using a 21 millimeter, and I'm going to align it so that the oil tube, as you can, stupid camera, so that way the oil tube right here hanging down is off the table, because I don't want to break that. You don't need to start in the middle. That's just where I put my hand to hold down the weight. Make sure you don't start them crooked or else they'll never go in. Installed. And this one should just pretty much pop down in there. But it looks like it has some kind of a play to it, which is kind of interesting. It is uniform all the way around. Glide in there if we rotate it a little bit. There we go. Nice. Except for the fact that it's filthy. Don't like that. Now we can go ahead and figure out which one of these gaskets does which. It'd be pretty cool if they were universal, but I doubt that to happen. This one has a lot more curvatures to it. You don't want to drag the gasket because you're actually going to stretch the gasket out and you'll have too much material and it'll be like this on the end. You don't want that. You want it to be just right. So you're just going to put it into its groove and press it straight in. Do not drag the gasket at all. And you won't have any issues. This valve cover is ready to be reinstalled. Alright, we'll go ahead and reinstall our valve cover. Being extra careful with all of our wires and other things. They're going to be in the lead. And we'll just nice and gently like. Not trying to rush nothing. We're going to line it up with our spark plug valleys and press straight down, just like that. Perfect. And with this pressed down straight onto the spark plug valley tubes, we can go ahead and start installing our bolts, starting from the innermost bolts and then crisscrossing our way out. Give me. And just like that, that's all there's to replacing the valve cover gasket on these vehicles. Make sure you put your sensor back in, and then put everything else back together in the reverse order. If you're doing the other side, which I would highly recommend because you're already here, might as well finish it off so you know you're golden. In fact, yeah, there we go. Trying to get that out of the way. It's the exact same head on that side. You just have to worry about some of these coolant lines, but the difficulty isn't that different, so you shouldn't have any issues with it. But like I said, for the sake of this video not being 2 hours long, I'm just going to go ahead, do this head, because it's right in front. I can get a good camera shot, and everybody can see what I'm doing. So just do exactly what we did here, back there, and you'll be golden. And if you'd like to see another video on some Dodges, go ahead and check out that video next. I made that one just for you. But other than that, if this video helped you out, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you all next time.